Larry Szczepanski. What if Larry Szczepanski?
Have you ever grown something from a seed? Are you aware a seed, when planted and nourished, has the ability to blossom into something amazing? Contest chair, fellow Toastmasters and friends, for the next several minutes, I challenge you to think of everyone you have ever met as a seed. Your family, your friends, your acquaintances, those you've known for a long time to those you've known for a moment in time. Over the course of our lives, we gather many seeds. And in that moment, we judge and we criticize that seed. And if it has value, we plant it in our gardens. If it doesn't, well, we discard it. Of the seeds we plant, many grow and reach our expectations. Some even exceed them. But there are those others that, well, they just never seem to measure up. And quite often they get plucked from our garden and discarded. What if, instead of plucking those underdeveloped seedlings, we nurture them and help them grow to reach their full potential? How much better could our lives be? What if, instead of discarding all those seeds in whose value we didn't see, what if we planted them in our gardens and allowed them to blossom? How much different could our lives be? What if we stopped judging and criticizing each other altogether and instead tried to understand and nourish each other so that we all could reach our full potentials? How much better could this world be? Judging and criticizing is normal. Whether you realize it or not, I've been judged and criticized as I speak. And you know who you are. Judging and criticizing is normal. However, deciding in a moment's time whether or not this person, this seed, has value or should be discarded isn't fair to anyone. What if we took the time to understand that person's path, their story, their why? Is it possible we might come away with a different perspective? One of the very first seeds in my garden was that of my father. And his seed grew into a thorny rose bush. And sadly, his bush had more thorns than blossoms. Don't get me wrong, I loved my father, but I hated his behavior. Every night he would arrive home from work, sit in his chair, and order, "Get me a beer." We would comply because we didn't know if tonight was the night he was going to pass out or become violent. On more than one occasion, I cried myself to sleep, thinking, is there a way of fixing him? And if not, maybe I need to find a way of plucking him from my garden and ending this pain. Sadly, my father took ill. He stopped drinking. And he begged for our forgiveness. And I forgave him. But I never knew why. Why would a man who professed to love his family so much treat us so poorly? And that was the very question I posed to him many years later. Son, a person will either run away from or they will imitate what they know. My father, your grandfather, a man you never met, was a mean, abusive alcoholic, and he would beat me almost every day. And I promised myself, when I grew up, I wasn't going to be like him. Sadly, I had it. I'm sorry. My only ask for you is that you learn from my mistakes and you do better. In that moment, I gained understanding. And understanding didn't mean what he did was right. It just meant I now knew Why? And that why gave us the ability to start growing together. And I understood, and on that day, our relationship began to fix itself. His thorns started to dry up, his bush started to blossom, and for the remainder of his life, my father and I had an amazing, amazing relationship. Sadly, he passed in 1999, but I often wonder, what if I asked that question so many years earlier? Could I have had more time with this wonderful man? My friends, someone's going to hurt you, and you may never know why. You may very well hurt someone else, and they may never know why. But what if, instead of judging and criticizing in that moment, we ask those difficult questions and get to the why? Is it possible we may see a different situation or a different opportunity? In the words of my father, my only ask is that you learn from our mistakes and that you do better. My friends, the next time you find yourself judging or criticizing one of your seeds, before you discard it, take the time, plant it, nourish it, and maybe one day, just like me, you'll be amazed at what can blossom.
Timer, if we can have 1 minute for the judges, please.